Hello there, everybody. Eric Worre here. Good to see you. Welcome to the Excellence Project. I believe success leaves clues, and this podcast is about kind of finding out what top performers do, how they perform, how they have the success that they have, what their origin stories were, where they come from, and what my hope for this whole series is that you get a collection of ideas, because getting an idea can change your life. One little idea, one tiny little insight. 3 years from today, your life can be different. 5 years from today, it can be different again. And I've learned to collect these little ideas, whether it comes from a book, it comes from a person, it comes from a coach, a mentor, a mastermind, comes from an event, somewhere. Success leaves clues. And I could have done this series with people who failed at life, and you could pay attention to that as well. I could have done it, people who failed at network marketing, people who never figured anything out, because what would we need? What would we do if that was the series? Whatever they did, don't do that. Do the opposite of that. Okay, so maybe I'll have a little bit more encouraging type of a conversation than reversing what people did to fail. This is about successful people, highly successful. And today we've got a kind of a back-to-back conversation with a power couple in the network marketing profession, Danian Fire and Stefania Legato Fire. So we're going to do kind of back to back, and we'll do Danian first and then Stefania, who's the power of the couple for sure. We'll have her come in second and we'll have a conversation, but we're connecting remotely today and somewhere else in the world. I'm here in Las Vegas, but we have Danian Fire. Danian, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here. I can
How
hear
are
you
you?
loud and clear. I'm great. Great to see you.
It's good to see you
Let's
as
do
well.
this.
Where are you connecting from?
We're in Germany right now.
Okay, in Germany. It's a little not quite as hot as Dubai at this time of year.
Yeah, it's true, but it is actually quite record hot for Germany too. Like it's
Yeah.
it's hot out here. Yes.
Well, nice.
Great
It's good
summer.
good to see you. Good to see you.
Same.
And I was seeing. I want to get caught up on everything. I want to get caught
Yeah.
up on tennis. I want to get caught up. I think I saw you flying an airplane.
Yeah,
that's
that is true.
that's a new thing.
That is
Every-
that is in fact a new thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the airplane thing first.
Well, it's just been something I've been discussing for a while. I actually bought a helicopter. It's been like 3 years ago, but it never got delivered until today because it's like this brand new model, brand new thing they're doing, like all luxurious Apple type navigation and all. But they're still in that in like development, and I think it's like delivery has been moved to like 2029 by now. And in this whole process, I've been thinking about, hey, learning how to fly a helicopter, but I never could get myself to really do it because something is just not what it is for me. And then I kept thinking about why not learn how to fly a plane. And but today I had my first lesson. So it's just the beginning. It's a very early stage. So until I get to the Gulfstream level where you're at, Eric, it's gonna take a very long time. Probably
Yeah,
never.
yeah, you got. Well, I don't know. You get stubborn with your goals. That's for sure.
That is for
So
sure, yeah.
so here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to kind of go back to the beginning and just tell me your story. Tell the world your story. How did you get what was your story prior to getting involved in network marketing? And as step one, let's just have that conversation first, because I'd like to know, I'd like the world to know where you came from, what formed you, what shaped you in the early days.
Yes, for sure. And just to talk about the obvious first, in case you wonder what happened to my eye, this one, a tennis ball hit me. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't, but I was like some kind of recurring infection. I don't know what's going on. So just wanted to state it in case not everybody's asking what's happening with this eye. It looks actually much better now. We had to actually move the podcast because of it. Didn't see anything a couple of days back. Anyways, to your story. So I got started in the network marketing industry when I was 18 years old. But I want to say the real story starts much earlier. Growing up, we were like I was part of a family where we had a lot of love, but not really any entrepreneurial spirit. There was always kind of like a lack of money, in a sense that we wouldn't spend. We would always, like, the big thing was to save money. The big thing was to kind of find ways through life without paying a lot, and saving. And obviously, if this is kind of like the attitude, then of course you're very limited in the things that you do. I mean, there were we never went shopping. We never bought clothes. We never went into a hotel. I think I wasn't in a restaurant until I was 16 years old one time, or even in a hotel or anything. Again, it's not a big sob story. It was fine. We were good. We had food, right? There's worse stories than that, but still, growing up, I felt this like lack of, right? And so I developed a hunger very early to just simply make money. That was one thing. The other thing is, my mom was very, very strict at home. So we had a lot of very, very strict rules in the house. Like, I had to do this, I had to do that. This time you go to bed, you don't listen to music. You have to write vocabulary tests every week, every language. You have to correct it like this. You have to do that. And it was just very strict. And it kind of felt like, I think it fueled, or let me put it this way: it gave me just the right amount of trauma, to instill this hunger to live my own life, to kind of break free and make money, because that was like the second thing that happened. And I love my parents. I have an amazing relationship with them, and everything they did was to just give me the understanding of discipline, the understanding of working for things. And boy, that turned out very well. So it's like instilled in me, and that's the early thing. So as soon as I can, as long as I can think of, I would always try to find ways to make money. With my sisters, rehearse a circus and sell tickets to the neighbors, or sell stuff at the flea market, or, I mean, anything you can imagine. Sell phones over on eBay, or any of these things. There was a time I got addicted to the roulette online casino, made money there, and referred all my friends in school to get the $20 referral bonus. So it's kind of like the early beginnings of referral marketing. And then when I was 16 years old, I had a little yellow brochure in my mailbox, a physical mailbox at home, where it said "Work from home, make money from home." And I wanted to get involved in network marketing, but my mom wasn't very fond of the idea. So I had to wait until I was 18 to then finally get started. And for me, just to add that one thing, when I went to my first event, man, that was like all my dreams came true before I even achieved anything. Just the mere fact that something like this existed, like I could sit there, 18 years old, no background, no money, no entrepreneurial friends, nothing, no idea of anything. And they said, "Look, we're $1 billion business. We teach you everything. People made millions of dollars. Company made billions of dollars. You're welcome. Like, you can build your life here." And I was like, this is the best day of my life. And it really, today it's 23 years after this day, it really turned out to be one of the best days of my life, if you think about it.
So there was no like heavy pressure from family and parents for college and things like that?
Yeah, there was. There was for sure. In fact, I wanted to go full time right away, because I got involved when I was last year in school, and they were like there's a whole family reunion, like grandma, grandpa, father, mother, everybody, like, had to sit in with me, like, until you make enough money, you study. And I was very, I have to say, very intelligent in school. I was like the second best in the school. I was part of this like high intelligence group supported by the German government. Not a lot of people know that story. So in my summer holidays, I would go to like philosophy camps and stuff like that. So I guess my mom's dream was always I will become like how do you say that? Not a physician, so not a doctor. I'm talking about a guy who works in physics or aeronautics or something like this, right? Something smart, mathematician, anything like that. And then here I'm at the motivation event, right? So you can imagine how that looked for her. So that's why I then ended up studying, in fact. But then third semester, I quit everything and I went full time to network marketing, because, I mean, I didn't even pay attention. I was just building my business all day long, anyways. So that's how that happened.
Were you working from home, working or living with them, or did you move out?
Yeah, so I lived at home at first, and it's interesting if you tell the story today. That was pre-Facebook, right? So we weren't using social media. It was literally paper flyers that I put in mailboxes, and it said, "Looking for 20 people that want to make money, work from home, or uh, lose weight now. Ask me how." Your wellness coach, type thing. So put this into mailboxes, and people would call, and they would call the home phone of my parents' house because I didn't even have a cell phone. So one day, I put flyers, and it was winter time. It was cold, and if you want to put these little papers, you cannot wear gloves. So my hands were freezing for hours. I would put these, and I would take the bus to the little villages, and I put the mailbox, and I get scared of every third dog, defending the house and running out, like the whole thing. And then imagine, couple of days in it, nobody would call, and I'm like, it's weird. So I go harder, I put more, and nobody would call. And like the third day, I was like, what's going on? How come nobody's calling? And I found that my mom disconnected the cable from the phone because she was so worried about me disfocusing from school and all this because of the network marketing thing that she thought it was like a good idea to disconnect the phone. So reason why I'm telling you that story now is that was the moment I moved out. And I moved to the father of one of my first distributors. He had like a spare room, and I moved in there. Still love my parents, but had to temporarily move out. Well, permanently, but anyways, I had to move out at this point because my business was just like my everything, right? So I started out there, but then I didn't stay there.
Yeah. All right. So the flyers were working, but
Yeah.
you didn't get the phone calls.
Yep, that is true. Got a
Oh,
few in the
wow.
beginning, and then it stopped all of a sudden.
Yeah. So okay, so you move out, and would you move in with a roommate? Where somebody in your team? Did you have any success in the early stages of building a team?
No. About so building a team, really not at all, Eric. In fact, I always tell the story. It took me 7 months to find a single person that actually sign up. It's ridiculous because it doesn't make any sense. Because the first event, I came home, I wrote down all the names. I literally I woke up my parents. I said, "Mom, Dad, I'm going to be a millionaire. This is going to be the best thing ever. I'm going to build a huge team." And I was 100% sure I'll have 100 signups the first week, and I got zero, like none at all. And I was so shocked about this. I couldn't understand what was going on with people. And I think that was one of the first realizations that I had is I always thought everybody thinks like me, but then I realized it's really not like that. And most people would rather risk nothing or I don't know, just don't do it. And so I ended up selling products in the beginning, which wasn't even my plan. My plan was to sign up everybody and duplicate, but then I ended up selling products because that, interestingly enough, came very easy. So I had wellness products at the time, weight loss shakes, healthy supplements, stuff like that. And I found that was very easy because I just asked people, "Hey, do you want to try? Do you want to be my first customer? What are you using currently? Why don't you try what I have?" And it was easy. So if you ask me, did I have success? Yes, in terms of I started to make money right away. We're talking a couple of $100, but that was still like 10x my pocket money, right? So yes, I had success, but not the way I thought I would have it. Recruiting took way longer.
So were you able to make enough money to be able to pay rent, pay your basic bills?
No,
How did you
it
survive?
wasn't. Right. So it was not enough. In fact, that's the interesting story how I found my first distributor, because that was not nobody of my friends, none of the people that I knew, no family, nothing. So after a couple of months, I realized I don't have enough money. Like I can't move. I had to pay flyers, bus tickets, products, stuff like that, rent, all this, and I didn't have. I mean, the first few months I didn't need rent. I was still home, but then I moved out. So what I did is I started to look for a second job. That was the moment my parents really thought, now I'm crazy. Like they said, "Daniel, who's looking for a second job to pay another job? Like it doesn't make any sense." And I said, "Mom, it's not a job. Like it's a business and you have to invest." So I was looking for this job and I was helping another company to build like online web shops and stuff. And that's how I made some money. And in that company that I worked for, basically the manager of that company was a lady. she was like a real power woman. Like she was in like her 50s, and she would like walk around with a headset all day long, managing teams at trade shows all over Europe. And I was like, boy, if I ever sign up this woman, I'll be rich. Like, and it became my mission to sign up that woman. And I did. It took me like 2 to 3 months, and she was my first supervisor. And it was amazing. Like it's really like that was my first serious sign up, and it came from a second job that I got to support my growth in network marketing, to be able to, just afford stuff. Even like events, seminars. I mean, it's all not free, right? It's very inexpensive compared to the real world, but it's still money, and if you don't have it, so yeah.
So it took 7 months to sign up this first superstar, this first, superstar in your mind, at least.
Yeah.
So in between that time, you'd mentioned an event. Did you go to a company event in those first 7 months?
Yes. So the way it worked back then is everything was organized through events. In fact, there was no online meetings at all at this time. So you had to go to like a weekend event. It was like a 2-day event. It was like $100. You had to prepay. There was a food. You'll never forget Saturday night's buffet, Eric. All you can eat. I never had the concept of free food in my life. So you can imagine the first events I would eat so much every Saturday night. It's like the whole dream. Like the whole day we talk about success and, building a business. And then at night there was the all you can eat buffet. Oh man, best days of my life, let me tell you. So that was it. So I had to go there, travel there, sleep somewhere, and had to invite my prospects. And also think about doing it the hard way. You had to invite and convince a prospect to pay $100 and spend a whole weekend before him actually knowing exactly how it will work or what it is. Because the strategy back then was curiosity moves people. So you would not make a full presentation. You would not explain them what it's all about. You would purposely stay vague, okay, to trigger their inspiration, but not give them the facts and say, on the weekend is where we'll reveal the exact thing. And then find people to pay money, commit a weekend, travel there without knowing what it was all about and without telling them the name of the company. That's how we got started. So that was very interesting.
Yeah. That's I never went that aggressive. People were coming to the events where at least they had an understanding of it. Like local events, people would
right.
We'd have them come check it out. I want to continue the story, but I want to ask this question first. What do you miss about how you did business 20 to 25 years ago versus how you do business today?
I'll tell you exactly. It was like everybody had that spark in their eye about, oh my God, we found something. It was like, we found the gold mine. Like oh my God, like everybody was nervous. There was this common energy in the meetings and the events with the people. People couldn't sleep at night. Like, do you know what I mean? People would call each other like 5 a.m. in the morning. You can't sleep as well. Now I can't sleep either. Let's like this, And I feel like today it's like, maybe it's, I don't want to always blame social media, because I also love social media in one way and then I hate it in another. But it's just like, now you see, I want to almost say 14-year-old kids with Lamborghinis and they don't even have driver's licenses yet. And of course it's not the real world, but you see it everywhere. So it's like everybody goes rich somehow. And it's kind of like people are, how to say, they've seen it too much, even though they haven't even experienced it themselves, that it became normal, right? It feels like opportunities everywhere and it's easy nowadays. And it's really not easy. But back in the day, it was more mysterious. It was more like, oh my God, we found something. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? And that I miss, because today it's like everybody takes it for granted. And even the people that haven't even achieved anything already take it for granted. I'm like, I don't get you. You haven't even gotten like to any position. How do you not even like run for your life? Like, do you know what I mean? So and that I missed. It was almost like the appreciation for the opportunity itself. Like, do you know what I mean? That I miss.
Yeah, I the way I would view it, kind of two ways that I would view it, because I agree with you, is people today, for whatever reason, seem to be a little too cool for gritty entrepreneurial stuff. They're a little too cool. Everybody wants to push buttons. Everybody wants to look amazing at all times. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. Nobody would consider knocking on a door in the cold or putting a flyer into somebody's mailbox. They just wouldn't even consider it. Like, it's so beneath them. So too cool on one side. The other side is a little bit soft in comparison. I don't want to be that old guy that says, the young generation's soft, but it's a little soft. It's not quite as gritty. Would you agree?
100%. 100%. And I also feel this, and now this is a really old guy saying something now. I'm hearing it from myself. But you know what is interesting? I sometimes, when I talk to people, I have this feeling that sometimes they have this thing like, Danny, you don't understand. Today it's all different. Yeah, I get it, but I think you don't get what I mean. It just because a lot of things got easier or more viral quicker, whatever, doesn't mean you don't need that tenacity in your personality to still attain your goal. You still need it. It seems all easier, but I don't think it actually is in the very end, because maybe you'll build something quicker, but then it's also gone quicker. There's more distraction for everyone, right? So there's a lot of things that change, and I get it. And there's people doing crazy stuff on TikTok these days, or even things that I'm not even on, and I get it. And maybe I don't know that part, but I do know that some certain truth about entrepreneurship don't change. And I feel like, they think they don't need to learn it, but they will eventually if they really want to maintain success.
There's Dana White is a friend who lives here in Las Vegas, runs the UFC. And if you want to look up something interesting, go search Dana White Savage. Because he talks about, if you're a savage today, you can rule the world. Because everybody's soft, but you got to be a bit of a beast in order to be able to do something important. And the interesting thing, not to sidebar this whole conversation, but I think in the last 10 years or so, we were tricked. The whole world was tricked. One, by technology mostly. One, we see too many stories of instant millionaires. We hear about all these instant, influencers and all these different people, and it, because we see it on social, it feels common. It feels like it's everywhere. Everybody's doing it, right? So that's one thing that we see so much evidence that we're like, well, that should happen to me too. And that's not how it works. Second thing is, because of it, and it got accelerated during pandemic, but because of social, people started pushing buttons and they started getting some sort of results. They started getting some traction, and they could push buttons and go live or talk about their product or talk about their opportunity, and they could recruit some people. What they didn't have was sticky, stable, solid organizations, because they stopped doing face-to-face and they started using only tech. And pandemic accelerated this like times 20, where everybody was feeling like, oh, I don't ever have to leave my house again. And as a result of this, old guy talking, we used to have a farm team, a development team. You're a tennis player, so you'd have your pros, and then you have your next level, and then you'd have the next level, and then you'd have the developmental leagues, and then you'd have the college, and then you'd have, ranked players, whatever, and then you'd have high school, and then you'd have junior high. We had all these, and in network marketing, we had the top, but then we had all those other layers of people who were out doing meetings, knocking on doors, doing one-on-ones, sitting in coffee shops, developing their skills, getting on airplanes, driving to another city, doing all these different things, right? And it started prior to pandemic. We started to lose this developmental team because people were just pushing buttons. they started losing the muscle. They started saying to their upline, this is too hard. We need to make it easier. It's like a person working out saying, I need the weights to be lighter because this workout's hard. So make the weights lighter, make them lighter, even lighter still. Make them so they don't weigh anything. Do it so I don't even have to move my arms. And everybody's like, okay, we'll make it lighter. We'll make it easier. We'll make it simpler. You don't even have to move your arms. You just push a button. And what we ended up happening is we ended up creating a bunch of weak people. And in the pandemic, in 18 months, we wiped out our entire farm team. Almost all of them. So there was superstars and there was infants. Superstars and toddlers. Superstars and peewees. All the in-betweens were sitting at home, and in the very short term, they all made money. But afterwards, when it got hard, they didn't have the skills to dig themselves out. So they started blaming other people and other things and the company and the comp plan and the products and everything else for their lack of results. So losing this farm team has been a big deal.
Yeah. And also, if you work only online, it's also very easy for a few people to speak to very, very many people. And therefore, you don't need that many good people. So you can still have the 3 superstars do almost all the talking, and you don't need anybody in between, because as long as they do it, everybody's in. But I remember I lived in close to Cologne at some point, and my upline was from the United States. He couldn't speak my meeting. That was in the very beginning. It was like after 8 years. In fact, the first time I went 5 figures was because no one was there. My sponsor was the best, but he was in the US. So who's going to do the meeting? So I had to do the meeting. I had to step up. I had to bring the projector, and I had to organize my slides and do it all by myself. I couldn't rely on anybody. And that's obviously when growth comes in very, very strong. The need for that kind of went away a lot of times. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an interesting thing. And I will tell you, I pay attention, as you do, to what's really working.
Right.
And here's a really good question for all of you to ask when you look at your business, look at your company. What's really working? Not the stuff that sounds good. What's actually making sales? What's actually working to recruit people? What's actually working for duplication and retention and leadership development? What's actually working? And I'll give you a handful of things that are actually working on a global perspective. And I'd like to get your opinion on this. What's actually working is face-to-face. Using technology to connect with people and then figure out a way to get face-to-face in person is working. One-on-ones in coffee shops is working. Sitting down with somebody in a living room is working. Getting on an airplane, going to visit a team member in another city and working with them for a day or two, that's working. Developing more presenters on your team, that's working, right? Old school stuff is producing incredible results. So use the tech to get reach, but then use the high in-person stuff in order to be able to get stability and strength and growth. So your opinion on what do you see that's working right now? The biggest trends that you see?
Right. And I want to follow through on that. Even after the recruiting part, how to light up an organization, how to make them work, how to activate them. Same thing that you just said. In-person events, in-person incentives, incentive trips, all the stuff where people get together. Sometimes even to create all new momentum is just spend a few days with the top producers and just lock away and get the whiteboard out and let the ideas flow again. These types of things is always that's really the game changer. Even on a company level, I see a lot of companies getting lazy on events, getting lazy on incentive trips. Because you can save money and so much work to not do it. And is it really needed, right? We're all in touch every day. Boy, it makes all the difference. I mean, we still put thousands of people in a room. We've been doing it for 23 years. We still do it. It every time works like crazy, and it costs a lot of money. I mean, you know best as well. Eric, on that. But this is the stuff that's a bit harder to do, but that makes all the difference. So fully
Yeah.
agree with you that, yeah.
So let's get back to your story. That the little sidebar, and hopefully the listeners have taken note of what's going on, and really important, pay attention to what's working, pay attention to who's getting results, pay attention to how they're doing it, pay attention to who's declining and why, all of that stuff. Pay real attention, not to what you just hear, but with your eyes, watch what's going on and really study success.
And Eric, can I say one thing? Who's really declining? Because that one's so evident to me at the moment. Is when you start, it's actually a very old thing that we know forever. Listen to the people that are where you are and not to them that they have different agendas. And today, that's such an important topic because somehow everyone's an expert these days. Everybody who can do a reel and make it look cool looks like an expert, right? And the problem is in today's world, there's, let's say, this common narrative of, oh, network marketing doesn't work anymore. Now it's this business. Now it's that business. Now it's, and I've heard this version of the story with 25 different businesses. I've heard it, and I don't want to trash on other businesses, so I'm not saying any word, but I'm just saying be very careful to who you're listening to and who your organization is listening to, because especially right now, I feel we're in July 2026. It's a new day of the same old story of a million people telling each other, oh, network marketing, that's an old school business. It doesn't work anymore. Now it's this, now it's that. That's much easier. This is free. Why do you pay for monthly memberships? Make it free. Do that, like all these types of things. And the problem is, in the moment you let these thoughts enter your head, that you really think, the time's over, doesn't work anymore, that will make you lose your business. In fact, I quit network marketing one time. Many people don't know that. I quit after 4 years in business, after being with my first company, which was a great company, by the way. And I quit for one thing. I started to believe the people that told me, oh, come on, Daniel, network marketing in Germany, that does not work. It's an American thing. And I started to believe them slowly, quietly. It grew in my mind. Maybe they're right. Maybe you got to do real business. Maybe you got to be in real estate or some real business, right? Not this network marketing thing. And it's the very same story today with different things. People say, oh, just do this referral or that, or just sell that, or do this, or make your whatever else. There's so many things, but it's always the same thing. It's a distraction. It's a mind virus. And I think it's more relevant today than ever because people let their dreams be stolen by the story that what they're doing doesn't work anymore. And it's just so far from the truth.
And guess who tells that story the most? Influencers.
Oh, big time.
And guess who's starving today? Influencers. And you know who also tells the stories? People that quit. Yeah.
People that quit, they didn't make it, they leave, do something else, and all of a sudden they trash everything that they loved before and steal people's dreams so that they can make some bucks of them. So
everybody
very, very
wants
dangerous.
to be an influencer right now. Everybody wants to be an influencer. All these young kids, I'm going to be a YouTuber. I'm going to be an influencer. That world is changing so dramatically. People who are making, 6 figures 2 years ago don't have enough. They have other jobs. They got 1 million followers and no money. The algorithms strip their ability to be able to connect with their community the way that they thought they were going to be able to connect with their community. Products have changed. Everything's changed. So the world has changed under all of their feet. I'm just telling you. Anybody that's listening to this that is an influencer or was an influencer, tell the world the real story behind the beauty and the glamour and the travel and the free products and all that stuff. See if you can pay your bills out of the free products that you're getting for promoting something online. It's changed so dramatically. And I will tell you, we're very close to a world where there's going to be artificial influencers that won't even need to be paid and going to be producing, content 24 hours a day, cranking stuff out and replacing actual real brands and real people. So that's happening. Yep. That's a real thing. I will tell you the value of trust, of real relationships. I don't know, Daniel, if you're the same as me. The feed on social in just the last 6 months has gotten weird. You're just like, that's not real. Nope, that's not real. Nope,
Oh yeah,
that's
exactly.
not real.
Yep.
It's just like, oh, that guy can't dance like that. That's a fake AI dance, from his photo. It's just like, well, I don't know if I can trust any of this. And what happens in another 6 months when you can't notice the difference? You're going to go to people you actually know as a real person,
Right.
to give you some sort of referral or word of mouth. You're going to trust that, and you're going to start distrusting everything else. If everything else is just turned into an ad, you're going to want to have a relationship. And also, I think World Cup and everything else, sports has taught us that we are tribal as a species. And we like finding our tribe. We like finding our community. We like finding our people, and connecting with like-minded people is hugely valuable, and it's lost in other parts of society. We used to have it going to an office, and now there's remote work. You used to be able to have kind of a whole friend group inside of a company that you worked for. That's even going away. So we solve a bunch of economic, but also emotional needs for people as they connect with a like-minded group of people, kind of moving in the same direction. Very, very valuable. So anyway, let's
Right.
come back. How long did it take before you had your first breakthrough?
So there's a lot of breakthroughs. I want to say again, the very beginning, selling some products, making some money. That's a little breakthrough in itself. Made my first money. People said you wouldn't get paid, and I got paid, right? So that was great. Then also, of course, getting the first check, then the first distributor 7 months in. I remember the first time making $1,000 on a single check. That was 2 years in. I finished my school. And in the same month of the big A-levels test is when I hit $1,000. I was like, now I'm going full time. And anyways, I still went on to study. Hit about $3,500 a month there, then quit my studies. And then there was always this big dream of going to, $10,000 a month. And that was that impossible number. I knew for a fact I will never achieve this, just in my mind, because I'd never seen anybody make that kind of money. And because I couldn't believe it, because I'd never seen anybody in all this, it took me about 8 years to get there. In the meantime, I quit. I went into real estate, restarted, all these things, right? But then eventually, 8 years in, I hit $10,000 for the first time. And I want to say that was the first time where network marketing not just potentially showed me what's possible, but in my real life showed me a check that I just would have given you in writing I'll never have. So the first time network marketing completely in reality, not just in potential, blew out every single standard I had for my life. And that should be just the beginning of the future, because in the future, there's been so many instances of where, again, I'm finding network marketing is even bigger. Again, I'm thinking too small. Again, I'm thinking, even you think big, right? Everybody thinks they think big until they find they don't. And it's been always network marketing that just showed me how big things can really be, how impactful they can be, how high income can go, all these things. So
when did we meet
Yeah.
for the first time?
I think I know the first time you remember me. I remember you earlier. I saw you earlier because I attended events. But the first time you remember me must be my first 90-day run story. So what happened is I was at, I want to say that was the third GoPro you did, maybe. Still kind of 150 people in the room, I want to say. And it was a third day, end of the event. And Eric Gorey is like, all right, welcome to the last 5 minutes. And he talked about the concept of the 90-day run. I'd never heard of something like this before. With the 90 days, you can change your life. I'm like, right. I've been trying for the last 18 months to turn my team around, and it's not happening, Eric. So how is it going to work in 90 days? So, but anyways, you brought up all these examples. And that morning, I caught fire, and I bought into that idea. What if in 90 days, if you went really all in, you could change your business, you could change your life? And I went home, pushed the big red button, and went complete insane level, 16 hours a day. In the end, was like 18 hours, 20 hours, no sleep. I mean, I did like literally, I worked like there was not another breath. And within 55 days, I jumped
Well,
7 ranks in my
don't go to
comp plan.
55
No,
days.
go ahead.
Don't go to
Okay, okay.
55 days. I
But
want
that's when
you
you
to,
remember me because I
yes,
told you
yes,
that
yes.
story. Yeah.
I want you to walk me through
Right.
week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 of how it felt. What were the results? What was the commitment? You know, the doubts, the fears, the progress, everything on that 90 days, because it's a fun story. I think the first time that is when I heard, when you told me your story, and we
Well,
had
after I did it.
a boot camp in Minneapolis, I think.
Yes.
But
Insanity
and
is something.
yes, and we have a video interview of myself and Danian, and you'll see this little kid, Danian Fire, talking about his 90-day run. But walk through it, because you and a friend made the decision you're going to do it. And I am a believer that 90 days can change your life. Anybody listening to this, watching this, 90 days can change your life for real. It did for me, and it can for you. So, but
Absolutely.
it might be the hardest thing you'll ever do, but you can do anything for 90 days. You know, you can swing your life out of balance for 90 days. So talk about it.
So I came into that event, this is important, kind of having used all my tool set, everything I knew, and it just wouldn't work. I always used to be a very consistent guy in the way I was building. I would recruit like my 4 people a month. I would do my 2 calls a day. I was very like clockwork, right? So I would always put in my personals and, train my team. But this, about, I want to say 18 months before that event, it just stopped working. Why did it stop working? Because one of my good guys quit the team, and the talk became negative. It felt like I was swimming against the river, like you can make a lot of strokes. It doesn't make a difference if the water's coming to you. And it felt like I couldn't turn it around. So I would still put in my personals, but just nothing would grow. So my income was stuck. And in fact, because I lost a big part of my group, I went down 5 levels below my recognized rank. Okay. So as a blue diamond paid gold, if that makes any sense to some comp plans. And then I was at the event, kind of really looking like for a solution, and I didn't expect anything like that. So when I heard this, I was like, all right. And it was the one question that caught me when you said, okay, well, it was actually 2 questions. You said, question number 1, how important is success to you in network marketing? And for me, I was like, all right, 100% important. Like right below oxygen. Like if it's the last thing I'm going to do, I want to figure this out, right? So I knew that. And then you said, okay, if it is so important to you, have you ever given it a true 100%? And then I remember you saying, not 99%. The difference between 99% and 100% is not 1%. It's 100% a different thing. That's what you said. I remember that. So, because we've done the 99% many times, but have you given it your absolute everything? And even if it's just 90 days. And I reflected in that moment, and I was shocked, because how long have I been in the business at that point? Probably 12 years. I don't know, roughly. And I had to truly answer to myself, no, I've never really done this. And it shocked me. Like, I'm in the business for 12 years. The business that I'm saying is everything I want. And yet not once for 90 days I've given it my absolute everything. Kind of crazy. So I was shocked about myself. And then you said something like, wouldn't you be curious to see what would happen? It's not going to get smaller in those 90 days. It's probably going to get bigger. How about that? And then, all the things that happen to other people. And so I just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So this is how it started. That was the moment, right? And of course, I was ready. I was ready for a message like that. What I know today is most people won't be ready. Most people hear this and say, oh, that's a fun story. That's crazy, whatever. But there's only a few that when you hear it, you feel it in every cell of your body where you say, that's exactly what I have to do. That is me right now. I'm so ready for things to go in a momentum. I'm so ready to turn things around. So I guess the message needed the right person. And in that moment, I was the right person. So then a lot of people say, what did you do? And that's the biggest answer. I didn't really do anything much different from what everybody would probably do. I didn't have the magical strategy. It wasn't some new tool or anything. It was simply the idea of giving it 100% effort. So I took a piece of paper and I wrote down 100%, like this, boom, 100%. And then I made sticky notes, right? And I put them everywhere, 100%, 100%, 100%. So I would consistently remind myself to be in 100% focus, 100% energy, 100% in that conversation, 100% belief, like complete, intention, right? And the second rule was only productive things allowed. That was the only two things I had: 100% energy, 16 hours a day, and only productive activities. So no reading, no personal development, no scrolling on Instagram, no going to the movies, just building, 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 building. And that's kind of how it started. I had in my mind this idea that I would, tell my whole team about it. I would make like a call and see who buys in. Maybe people would join. But I also had a backup strategy in my mind. And the backup was this. I said, if nobody would do anything remotely like that, here's what I can control. Here's what I can do. I could have 10 quality conversations every single day with new prospects, because after 90 days, that is 900 conversations. And if I talk to 900 people, my average would be like 300 be interested and 100 would sign up. And if I personally start 100 new lines in 90 days, I'm a legend just by myself. That was kind of like my backup story. So if everything would fail, I can control what I can control, and that is what I would do. So that was kind of like the game plan in my head. That's how I started. Okay. So then first week I go in it. And I remember until today, it took me exactly 67 conversations. And then I didn't have a second to talk to any new person, because work just started to multiply. How that happened was I did a thing called brainstorming. We've all heard brainstorming before in whatever school or project groups or whatever. So I would take my iPhone, put it to 1 minute, and just let my ideas flow. What can I do today to produce volume? What can I do today to increase belief? What can I do today to get my team to make more signups? Who can I talk to today? Like all these empowering business building questions. And I would just let them flow, and I would just write and write and write and write ideas. Everything I could think of without judging it. Oh, I can make a team call and tell my story why I'm going to do a run. Maybe I'll inspire somebody. I could talk to every new sign up in my group, even down, ask them how they get started, tell them about the benefit of the big package, ask them to upgrade. I'm just making it up now, right? I could make a special program about this product, get an expert on, promote this for a whole week, and have a whole new movement in the group. I could do an incentive. I could have one-on-one conversations about the goals with my top leaders. I could, and you already know, I could talk to 10 people a day. I could make follow up with every person every day until they join or the 90 days are over. I could, and if you keep thinking that way, you come up with more ideas. Maybe today it'll look different. Maybe you'll say, okay, instead of, I don't know, 1 TikTok a day, I'm going to post 10. Maybe it's whatever your strategies are, but you know what is working. You know what potentially can grow your business, grow the belief, grow the volume, grow the people. Do it, write it down. And then what I did, just a minute, 2 minutes, bam. And here I had 7, 8 ideas that I can work on. And then I went to work right away. And there was one very, very pivotal moment that I want to talk about right at the beginning, where I realized why that might be true, what you said back then, that it is actually possible to change your life in 90 days. So I had this idea that like I said, want to talk to 10 people a day. And to get the conversation starting, I said, okay, let me send a personalized voice note on WhatsApp. We do that a lot in Europe. I mean, I know in the US it's not that big of a thing, maybe now, but back then nobody did it. But in Europe it's big, like you send voice notes. So I said, okay, I'm gonna send 100 people a personalized voice note. Now I tell you this and you might think, oh, that's not a big deal, just do it, right? Okay, let's think about that for a minute. So I'll take my phone now and I pull out Eric Worre and I say something like, hey Eric, this is Daniel, how are you? Listen, it's incredible what is happening right now. I wanted to connect with you because I'm currently working on a project in my business that is blowing my mind. I literally don't get no sleep because I'm extremely excited about the potential. Now, I've been thinking about some of the people that I value the most and that I would love to work with, or at least listen to the concept. And Eric, you're at the top of my list because of this, that, and the other. Okay. So I would love to connect with you just 15 minutes. Whenever you have time, hit me up. But I don't know a guy that's better connected, more powerful, more influential, hungry like me, a person I'd love to work with. And so if you can, please just get back to me. Let's talk about this. You're going to go crazy what you and I can do with this project, for example. Okay. So let's say that's a 1 minute 30, 90-second message, right? So just do the math real quick. How long do you need to send 100? So you got 90 seconds. You maybe need another 90 seconds to get ready for the next one, right? So just to kind of like get your head right, story, next person. So let's just say 3 minutes. So 100 times 3 minutes is 300 minutes. 300 minutes, it's 5 hours. Okay? If you were to not literally go to pee once, have you ever been on the phone and talk with 100% passion and intensity for 3 hours straight? Most people have never done this. Eric, it was the most insane thing. I started 8 a.m. in the morning. I remember I was done at about, I want to say like 12 something, 12:20, okay? I was sweating. I changed t-shirt twice. I had my phone plugged into the cable because it ran hot and the battery would drain. I drank water. I felt my legs. I started to get like a muscle pain. My throat was dry. And I was like, done. And I look at the phone. I'm like, I can't believe it. It's not even lunchtime. On the first day of my 90-day run, it's not even been 5 hours of 16 hours of day one, of day 90, like of 90 days. On day one, I'm exhausted. And that's when it hit me. It's possible to do more in a day that most people do in a month. Some people even do in a year. You could do it in a day. So I go change my shirt, do a couple of things. 30 minutes later, I look at my phone. My phone has like 27 replies. Sure, I can talk. Sure, let me know. When do we get on? I'm like, oh my God, I forgot they would answer. So you get it? So and this was just point one on my brainstorming. Send 100 voice messages. I got another 27 items on the list, And that's when I realized you don't need the magical formula. You just need to get to work. So that's what unlocked it. And that was like the first hours of the run. So I realized this is more like high level sports. This is not network marketing anymore. This is physical. I need a lot of shirts. I need a lot of water. I need a charger. I need to be on point. I need to remind myself when your energy drops to go back to 100. I mean, this is not something ordinary at all. And I don't care if you use TikTok or whatever technology today, you better be on point, right? So that's how it started. And so what happened? Here's the fun thing. Week number 1, absolutely nothing. Nothing. Like I had a lot of work, but the volume was exactly the same. I think I had like an increase of a couple $100, like nothing. And even week number 2, I think my check went up like $1,000. So there was a 14-day delay before I saw the results come into my check. And I think, and really it's been a long time, Eric, so I don't know exactly the numbers, but it was something like week 3, it exploded and it was like 35 grand in 1 week, which for me, I think I was making around $5,000 when I started. And all of a sudden I had 35,000 in a single week. And that is just because things started to obviously compound, but it took some time. And I remember telling myself, I will finish this, and only when I'm done, I will judge if it worked. I won't stop in the middle, right? Then week 4 was over 40. And then I started to hit the different levels and the different ranks. And I mean, the story goes crazier and crazier as I tell it. Then what happened? So my upline event, so my whole goal was to get back to like Blue Diamond, which was the rank I was recognized but not paid at, which was 5 levels higher. And it was very impossible, actually. But I said, if I would, that was like my best case scenario. If I would do that in 90 days, unreal. So a little before that, I realized, like, I got to what I would call the flow state. And if you're in sports, you probably know what I'm talking about. There is this moment where, for some reason, everything works. It's that one match, or is that training match, or whatever. Like, whatever is your sport, or whatever is the shot you know it's hardest, and you know you cannot do it, and you definitely cannot do it multiple times in a row, and you can't replicate it, and definitely not at this speed. On that day, it's like physics laws don't apply. You can, and the weird thing is, you know you can. You have zero doubt you can, and you hit that backhand winner cross court, even though the other guy is serving like a whatever high kick serve. It doesn't matter, right? So, but you just do it because you're in that flow state. It's that brief moment where you stop doubting, you just create. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
That moment, that's what I got into network marketing. And that I went to that place where volume that I was needing, signups that I needed for a rank, qualification for a downline to a specific incentive, everything was easy. It was like, all right, let's get you to the trip as well. What do we need? 13,000 volume. Okay, let's get it done. Boom. And it was done. There wasn't the question anymore how. And it became very evident at one point. So here we are, closing the month. And I'm like, I can see for the first time, I will actually hit Blue Diamond, which is insane. So I called my sponsor and I said, bro, you won't believe it. I think I'm going to get it done. I think I'm going to go to Blue Diamond, which is ridiculous. I'm just doing something I haven't ever seen anybody do. And my sponsor says, Daniel, that's great, but could you hit the next rank? I'm like, what are you talking about? The next rank? Bro, we got like a week left. How am I going to go to the next rank? I'm telling you, I can't do it. I didn't say I did it. And he said, well, but if you did it, you know, I got another team in Hong Kong. And if they performed, then I could go top 3 in the company. Wouldn't that be amazing for all of us? Like, we'd be like 3rd biggest organization, this and that. And I was like, look, I was already so deep down the rabbit hole and forgot about realism that I said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I tell you once for the record, I have no idea how to do that. That's too much too quick. But I will promise you, I forget that I don't know. I will go to my whiteboard. I'll rip away the pages. I will put the new number. And I just act as if that is the normal and we go for it. And I'll give it my absolute everything. He's like, bet, let's do that. Eric, we rock and roll this thing. And 3 days before the end of the month, I can feel I can do it. I call him up. I'm nervous. I'm like, bro, you will not believe it. I might actually do what you asked me. I don't know how. Don't even ask me. This thing is just completely wild. I didn't think we're going to do it. And he was like, well, that's great. But I have one question. My Hong Kong team isn't really performing the way I thought. Could you hit the next rank? And at that point, I was like, what are you even talking? Like, what? The next rank? Now we're talking a rank. At the time it was called White Diamond. Nobody had achieved that in Europe in the company ever. And he's asking me in 3 days left to achieve that. But I was so exhausted. I was so in it. I was like, for the record, that's impossible. But I will forget that it is. I will go back to my whiteboard. I act as if, Eric, I did this, and I'll never forget, there was 70,000 volume left that I had to do in 3 days. Now, at this time, I didn't have a huge organization, okay? Today, we do that in a couple of hours every day. But at the time, I wasn't that big. And remember, I came just 2 months ago from a team that would make like $5,000 in commission. So for me, $5,000 in commission. So you have an estimate on the size, right? Few hundred signups maybe a month. That's it. And here he's asking me to do, what was that, about $150,000 in sales in 3 days? Like, where? So here's what I did. I went to my paper, and you can find that video on YouTube still today. I ripped the paper. I wrote the number 70,000 CV because that was what was missing. And I said, project 70,000. And I made a video, and I told my team, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 70,000 volume. We're going to do it before the end of the month. And then we're going to rent out the most exclusive club in Frankfurt. We'll shut it down. We'll party there. This is going to be the first time I'm going to get drunk in my life. And we're just going to do the craziest thing. I had no idea how much that would cost, if that would work. I had no time to figure it out. Nothing. But we did it. It's like, I don't know how else to describe it, but anything was possible all of a sudden. And my check jumped like dramatically, another 2 ranks. So 7 then in total, went to over 100 grand in 55 days. That was the last day. I stopped after that day. There was nothing left. There wasn't a day 56 for me. That was it. I achieved absolutely everything I couldn't even dream of in 55 days. And when that was over, I remember putting on my sunglasses, literally brought them here for this story, put on my sunglasses, and I went in the city and had breakfast for the first time. And I was just there sitting there, and I really felt like I won the Olympics, but nobody knew. It was so much money, so much growth, that it was just like I couldn't even tell anybody. They wouldn't believe me. And when we met at the Insanity Bootcamp and I told you the result, I was so nervous to tell you because I thought you think I'm lying to get your attention. That's the crazy thing. So when my result made me shy, that's what I wish everyone to do one time in your life. Because once you did that level of all in, you realize if it is to be, you can always recreate it. So, and yeah, that was a very powerful moment.
I have 2 questions for you. First of all, one of my favorite stories, and same thing happened to me. Literally, I was just crawling through my network marketing experience and making just enough money to pay my bills, barely. And I decided to do my first one. And gosh, 90 days, I went from 6-figure earner to the next calendar year. I made $980,000 from barely making 6 figures to making $1 million in 12 months. It was just like, what? Why did somebody not tell me this? So I got a couple questions for you. Question number 1. What if you never did a 90-day run? Where would your career be, do you think, today?
I tell you, I would still make good money. If I had to give a number, I'd probably make 30,000 a month now. Yeah, now it's like almost 20 times that. So it would lack the deep understanding that the impossible is just another project number to put down and actually get to work, and that you have that capacity. Because we've done it multiple times since. We don't have the time to go in it, but during COVID we did one.
Yeah.
That was a run, for example. I was already, so think about this, just one detail about that. My organization was already doing $3 million in sales a month when I started that run. So this is a whole different story in my life. So you might think, okay, how much can you move the lever? We went within 2 months, it was around 60 days. I don't know exactly how many days, but around 2 months, we went to 9 million in sales over the course of 2 months during COVID. Sometimes I looked outside, I saw like disinfection trucks. I'm like, what is even happening? Anyways, let me keep working. I was so in the zone. I was gone. I was just building. And so I saw this. We did runs inside the team. And I have to also say, we did a couple of runs where we were not that committed, and then it didn't work. Work. Like, you have to really be ready. And then, bam, you watch. It's crazy.
So how many have you done, do you think, in your career?
I would say personally, really significant ones. And every single time it was insane, the result. Not just a little bit. It was 4 runs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and that's 4 in how many years? Since your first one?
23 years. The first one, like 11, 12, 13 years ago, roughly. I don't know exactly.
So on average, about 1 every 3 years.
Yes.
So, and here's another one that's, I think, important for everybody to hear. On a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being the most difficult, 1 being the easiest, how difficult was that first one? Real life, how hard did you have to work?
Very hard. Everything I got. Everything I got. To exhaustion. To exhaustion. I was barely on my feet in the end.
Yeah.
Literally.
So the point that I want everybody to hear is, in order to change your life, would you be willing to do that? In order 100%. To change your life, would you be willing to give everything? Your reputation, your brand, your what other people think of you, not being able to have very much success in the first weeks before any evidence showed up at all, would you be willing to do Zooms for like voice notes for 5 consecutive hours to 100 people while you were tired and worn out? So for things to change, you do have to change. For things to get better, you do have to get better. And just the 90-day run has helped a lot of people, and it's created more legends than you'd think. If you can go back and figure out what caused the superstars to become superstars, it was some moment where they said, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm done crawling. I'm done walking. I'm going to run, even though I'm not ready. I'm going to do it before I'm prepared. I'm going to leap and hope that net appears. I'm going to jump off the cliff and grow wings. All of those things. I'm just going to do it. So I don't know who needed to hear that today, but for the person that did, this conversation was for you. So everybody else got to listen in, and hopefully you're a little bit closer to the big decision in order to be able to do something major. But for those that are really ready for a change, it's going to be a big day. Before we pivot, I want to talk about a couple things, and keep Damien up, please. Damien, how did GoPro, the book GoPro, help your team over the course of, since it came out in 2013?
It was a major change because it was a lot of guesswork before. What do I do? Do I need be lucky to be successful? And what you did with that book, you systemized almost like the curriculum. Here it is, exactly the 7 skills. This is what you need to learn. This is how you do them. And if you surgically learn them all and you become great at it, you'll have great results. And it was like, my God, like, thank you. Honestly, thank you for that book. It built my business for so many years, and it took all the question marks out of the equation. So it was huge impact.
Yeah, and that's 13 years ago. That book sold over 4 million copies around the world. It helped a lot of people, and I'm proud that it's done that. Took 13 years, but we came out with a new book. It's called Pro Code: Building a Network Marketing Business That Lasts. This book has just recently been released. If you don't have a copy, I'd strongly recommend that you get a copy. Number 1 book in network marketing, might be number 1 book in the world. It's not available on Amazon. It's only available one place currently. It'll be available on Amazon September 1st. But if you go to procodebook.com, you can get copies of this book, and we ship it anywhere in the world. It's English only for now. Procodebook.com. If you go to procodebook.com/fire, then you can get 1 book, or you can get 10 books. And if you get 10 books, I have something called GoPro Insider, which is daily mentoring, daily coaching from me that I will gift you. That's $240 worth of daily mentorship. I will gift that to you, 1 year of it, 365 days of mentorship. I will gift that to you free if you pick up 10 copies of the Pro Code book. So 10 copies, $160. You get them at a discount. Have them for your team, and you'll get gifted the GoPro Insider daily coaching and daily mentoring. Okay, so that's first. Everybody, in my opinion, if you're serious, you should have 10 of these books on hand at all times. Second, I'm doing 2 special events, one in London and one in France, and it's a Pro Code Day. I'm going to be doing a special Pro Code event on September 5th in London. If you know anybody in London, in or around London, or can get to London, a 1-day event that people can go to, procodebook.com/London. And the second one, get your tickets because they are going to sell out, is on September 6th. We're going to be in Lyon, France. So if you go to procodebook.com/Lyon, and we'll have the book in French at the French event in addition to English. So procodebook.com/Dania or fire, procodebook.com/London, procodebook/Lyon. Danian, any comments about the Pro Code book that you would add?
So, first of all, thank you so much. We just received it. I know Danielle was asking me for addresses. I gave all the addresses: Germany, Italy, Dubai, and they finally we just got them. So I'm the most excited of anyone to fully go through this book. So I can't really yet comment on what's in it. I will know very shortly, but I am really more excited than anyone because I know you started write the book many years over and over again, and it was never to your standard that you wanted and needed to bring out. And the fact that it's out now really gets me hyped up. Like it's for sure another huge milestone, and I can't wait.
Yeah, my wish is that it becomes a tool for you, not just a book to learn, but a tool to help you grow your business. Like GoPro did. ProCode, if GoPro made you any money, ProCode should make you 10 times the amount of money because it's much more complete. Exciting. Yes. So Danian, I want to thank you for sharing your story, offering some insights. You have your better half that's in the studio with you, and we're going to pivot to Stefania. We're going to hear her story. But I'm going to let you have kind of like the final word. What piece of advice do you have for somebody that's in the marketplace, that's hungry, wants to have success, is highly ambitious, looking for a change in their life? What advice do you have for them?
I tell you exactly. Listen to my wife now. And I'm not even just saying that to be nice. You heard my story now, right? I was kind of like the young dreamer, kind of rascal, trying to do it all. And everything was a first. Having some success was a first. Making some money was a first. Breaking through on like a big income was a first. What came into my life because of Stefania, and you're about to listen to all of it, is so much more depth, so much more mindset, so much more standard for your life. It kind of helped me grow up by like 10 years overnight in terms of responsibility, millionaire mindset, thinking, understanding of people. I'm a very introvert person. For me, it's very easy to ignore people around me. I don't mean it in a bad way, but it just happens to me to be like that. And having awareness and understanding on what do people feel and what does it do and how does it all come together. That was really all Stefania. And I'm not even like, I should even stress it more than I am. She's an incredible person, incredible leader, one of the best business women I've ever, like the best I have ever met, actually. Of course, she's beautiful and my wife, and I love her very much, all of this. But in terms of business, which is why we're here tonight, you have to listen to her. There are nuggets, there is values, there is a depth in the story that if you can implement that and learn from it, you'll go very, very far. So I'm excited for you guys to listen to Stefania Logato now. And Eric, thank you again for this. And we'll be back in about an hour for the Q&A. So I'll be back. You guys continue. And
yes.
Yeah, thank you so
Danian,
much.
Thank you so much. Let's bring Stefania into the set and kick you out. Hi, Stefania.
Hi, Eric.
What's up, woman?
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited that you're here.
Yes, thank you so much.
How are things? You don't age ever. What's the secret?
Botox.
Botox. Yeah, right.
No, I'm a big longevity protocol, and I work out, and I try to keep myself young.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done. Anyway, good to see you. It's been too long. How you doing?
Yes. Grateful, happy. I turned 50 and I feel like I'm starting a new phase in my life. Boys are out of the house. So I went through the emptiness syndrome, and but I'm enjoying my life thanks to network marketing. So
yeah,
very, 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 very happy. Good moment in my life right now.
The empty nester thing, how was that emotionally, and what are the kids doing?
So it was very hard. One lived in Portugal until now. Now he just moved to Italy, but he was 5 years in Portugal. One is in Malibu, Pepperdine in USA. The other one just moved now to Spain. So as I started this business was because of my kids. It was because I was a single mom and I did it for them. And especially when you're a single mom, you kind of have built this relationship, like a Three Musketeers relationship, and all of a sudden having them all away, and my purpose of being a mom. I mean, I'm still a mother, but far away. Like it was weird. And now, one is engaged, they all have girlfriends. So it's kind of hard because you kind of feel like I'm not the woman anymore in their lives. But it's okay. I am enjoying, learning how to fly a plane and building my business to a whole different level, helping people, involved a lot with my mission and my church. So yeah, I'm very, very happy right now. It's a good moment. Like I don't take it for granted. I had difficult moments. Life is unpredictable, but right now it's a very good moment.
Yeah, I love it. Well, congratulations on all of that. I'd like to do the same thing with you as we did with Damian.
Okay.
Go back and tell me your story prior to becoming this single mom where you had this life-changing decision and all this stuff. Where did you come from? What shaped
Yeah,
you?
very
What
different.
molded you?
Yeah. So very different from Daniel, actually. I actually come from money, which I know that a lot of people in network marketing don't. And we actually think that people that are wealthy might not look as at this unbelievable profession. They might not look at it seriously. But I actually come from money. I studied in boarding school in Switzerland, which still today is the most expensive school in the world. I hanged around lots of rich kids, and I was quite spoiled all my life. But one thing that I'm very grateful about is that helped a lot my mindset, because I realized that I had this big millionaire mindset ever since I was born. I had an entrepreneur, example next to me, which was my dad. My dad came from no money, so I saw him changing his life. My ex-husband was also an entrepreneur in the Formula One world, so I was hanging around, this VIP and crazy international world of Formula One for 20 years. So I have to say that molded me and prepared me for network marketing in so many different ways, especially because when I studied in boarding school, I had roommates from Japan, I had roommates from all over the world. So I was very good and learned how to adapt to different culture, to different people, learning how to read people, to connect with people. And I'm a big extrovert. I easily make friends. I easily talk to anyone. And I just felt like one day when I woke up, when I started to have success in network marketing, I remember thinking, my goodness, God created a business that is perfect for me because I just love it. It comes so natural. But I had to learn how to teach others, of course, because not everybody has this natural personality. I was also, since a little girl, I kind of was a natural leader. I was the one deciding all the games. I was the one, leading the class, making revolution inside the schools when I didn't like something. Kind of had this natural leadership in me. But at the same time, I felt that because I love people and I care for people, they didn't feel threatened by me because I felt like I was loving on people. I was leading them with love, not with fear or command. I don't know if I'm being
Yeah, it
clear.
totally makes sense. The question I have for you is, what did you think as you're growing up in this, what would be considered a privileged upbringing, right? You see lots of things. Money seems normal, affluence and celebrity and glamour and all of these things. What did you think your life was going to be? What did you think you were going to do?
When I was living in Portugal and had already 3 kids and I was married to a successful businessman, I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so happy. I'm going to just turn into a grandmother here. I never felt I had to prove myself to be worth something. I never felt I could even make money because we made a choice when we got married, right? He asked me to marry him on my graduation day. So, and then we got married, Villa d'Este Como, big VIP wedding with a lot of famous people. And I remember that when I got pregnant, right, a few months later, I thought, okay, that's my life. I'm going to be a successful guy and I'm going to become a grandmother one day. And I simply love it. So I never thought I had talents and gifts in me, which I only found out I had when I was put under pressure. And that all of a sudden, from having money, I had to look for money. But I need to say something. Whenever you have money, you don't understand it's not money. This is why when I say that there is this saying that says, difficult times create strong men and easy time creates weak men. I was weak in that moment in my life because I never went through a difficult time. So I'm actually grateful that all of a sudden I found myself literally broke to the point that I couldn't go to the supermarket, and it was very hard. But thanks to that time in my life, I found out that I had talents and gifts in me that I never used, that I never had, and that finally I could put into use, and it worked.
So my question for you is so you got married young, very young. You start
25,
building a
yes.
family right away.
Yes.
And how long did it take before it got bad?
So so we were together 23 years, but the last 7 years I was fighting to make my marriage a flow. And you might think, why did you have a third child? Because we divorced when Luca was 4 or 5, actually. So, but I already knew that he was very unfaithful, very, 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 like
Mhm.
not once, twice, right? So I had to, it's in my book. We're friends now. He knows that. And he regrets it. But probably also because of all the money I make now. But I would have never be where I am today if it didn't go through what I went through. And actually, I have to say something. Thanks to the fact that my parents didn't help me, thanks to the fact that he didn't give me any money from me or the kids, I actually had a story to tell. And my story was part of the reason why I'm successful, because I could inspire and help and relate to so many single moms in the world who, by the way, also are with no help from their spouse or very little help from their spouse. So I didn't know that the world was full of women in my situation that actually wanted to work with me and change their lives like I was changing my life. So the story was part of my success.
Sure.
Crazy.
Were you biased against network marketing? Because when this all
Absolutely.
happens, yeah, I'm curious because this all happens and you're like, okay, what are my options? One option is what some women do, and I don't judge it, is
No.
they're like, well, I'm just going to stay with them because I'll just deal with it.
To be honest, one of the reasons why it took me long to step away was also because where am I going to live? He's the the income owner. What am I going to do with 3 kids on my own in the middle of the street? So there was a part of me. I still also loved him, to be honest, but there was a part of me that thought, okay, I have nowhere to go. So I don't want to judge those women, but it got to a point that I had to love myself more and be courageous to take that step and say, no, it doesn't matter. I might sleep under the bridge, but it doesn't matter. I need to get out of the situation. I was suffering every time the phone wouldn't work. Maybe he was in a subway or in an airplane. I was imagining him with somebody else. So I couldn't live like this anymore. But there were moments where obviously I was going through a very tough time. I didn't have money to put petrol in the car, to go to the supermarket. And I was thinking, oh my God, what did you just do? Why did you leave? Why did you break up? How are you going to do it on your own? So network marketing truly saved me. But I want to say that my first reaction about network marketing, it was actually, you see, I came from money, and the people that I knew that was doing network marketing when I was a rich kid, a rich brat, they were all people that were kind of desperate, and they did it the wrong way. And I will never forget the maid of my mom. She came home one day and said to us, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to buy a Mercedes Benz. And because she went to one of these meetings at the company started and came back home.
We lost her connection, so we'll hold on for a moment and we'll wait for her to come back. Yeah. Hang in there with us.
I missed you.
Yeah, you back? Yeah,
Okay.
so if you can start that story over, that'd be great.
Okay, so when I had this preconceived that I thought network marketing was a plan B for losers, honestly, and because the people that were doing network marketing at that time in the 80s, in the early 90s, they were communicating it wrong. They were doing it wrong. Oh, this product will cure your sickness. Oh, come here and you're gonna be a millionaire. And they would show you just the houses and the cars, and then you had all this really, like I said, the maid of my mom, nothing wrong about the maids, but she would come home and says, "Oh, madam, buy me this shake and I'm gonna be a millionaire." And that was my idea. Oh, networkers are all losers. And funny enough, now I'm a network marketer professional for a long time. And my husband is a network marketing professional, and today I completely changed my mind about it. But it took people like you, and I'm not saying this, Eric, because you're here. I really mean it. To me, what really helped me in the business was when you started to interview people like Tony Robbins, like, influential businessmen, people that were saying network marketing truly works. And I was like, you see, it's not only me saying it. It's somebody like Eric. Look who Eric is. Look at these people are. So you kind of validated my talk to the entrepreneur mindset, because before it was more like I want to be, but nobody was really, except some big Americans with the big check. So I was very negative about network marketing. I truly started network marketing because I was desperate. That's the truth. I was desperate for money and I had no other choice, because the problem was that when you have three little kids, I needed a job that was flexible because I had to take care of my kids. So when they told me that I could work whenever I wanted, whatever I wanted, and I could also work from home, even though at the time I was building a lot offline, but the fact that I could work also from home or in my own times, that was the reason why I started. And yeah, it took me 2 years though to start to make proper money, not 2
Yeah.
months. Like,
So the thing that helped you get past the reputation was you were in a tough spot. So your situation changed. And had your situation not changed, you might have never been open to this. But
never. Probably I would have never even looked into it. I want to be honest, because I had these preconceived ideas.
yeah. So when did you finally join? What was the year? Do you remember?
2012.
Okay.
But I kind of played around in the beginning, like I sold some packages. It wasn't hard for me to sell, to recruit a few people, but there was no way I was able to duplicate them. There was no way. I didn't take it serious. I mean, I always tell this story. Think about it, Eric. For 2 years, 1.5 years, I'm failing at this business. What I mean failing was making a little bit of money by signing up somebody. Again, my personality signed up people, but it's not good enough. You cannot just sign up people and then they die and then they don't do anything, right? But I remember the first company event that I went to, there was, it was 8,000 people in a room. There was security. There were, police and ambulance. And I remember thinking in my mind, oh my goodness, so this is really legal. This is really okay, because look at the police is here. So please tell me, if my mindset is full of doubts, if my mindset inside of me, I'm still doubting if this is a proper business, how can I succeed myself, right? And coming to you in 2013 was really, I went to GoPro. It was November 2013. I actually just checked on Instagram just to make sure I was giving the right date. So I went to the company event. I decided to go pro, because there are always 2 dates in network marketing: the day you sign up, I learned this from you, the day you sign up, and the day you go pro. And at the event, I decided to go pro. I mean, at the company event, because my belief changed. But then at your event in November, I had the skills and the knowledge to be able to be a pro. Don't know if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, exciting. So
Yeah.
the when did you and Danian meet? When did you connect?
So we met at a company event. He was talking on stage. I was zero attracted by him because I was heartbroken. I didn't want to have anybody. Daniel is also younger than me, 10 years younger. So there was no way I would even consider him. For me, he was just a boy. But Daniel can sell himself very well. And we know that if Daniel wants something, like now the tennis, now it's the plane. And when he wanted me, it took him 1 year of really following up nonstop, and it worked. But it was amazing because you see, our synergy together makes us powerful, because we are completely the opposite. So where I'm lacking, he's strong. Where I'm strong, he's lacking. And then we also learned from each other. But one thing is for sure that I want to say about that event, Eric, because I was thinking through what I took home from that event. Of course, skills. Your book changed my life to the point that I was the one translating your book in Italian, and I was the one selling your book for the Italians for years because how much I loved it. I would never do that if I didn't believe in it. But I want to say that you made a question of that event. Imagine I'm making 2,000, 1,000. I think Daniel had to lend me money to come to you. We were not dating yet, so I paid him back. He was just my upline. And I remember that you said, write on a paper what you will do once you make $100,000 a month. Okay. And Eric, this is the difference between me and many people that were around me, Daniel included. People were like, ha, 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 like laughing. Oh, yeah, right. 100,000. You need to think about it. 100,000, 23 years ago, it's even more than now, right? But still, it's a lot of money even today, right? I mean, how many people are really making 100,000? Me, I just go like, okay, yeah, 100,000. Okay, what? Okay, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. Which, by the way, all the things I wrote, I achieved. And one was actually taking my whole family on a holiday in the Maldives with Daniel's family. Later on, obviously, he became my family as well, and brother and sisters, and no Wi-Fi, and just enjoy our lives there. But what I mean is, because I came from the Formula One world, which with one phone call, my ex-husband in front of me would make $500,000 just because of a sponsorship. I was like, okay, you tell me I can make 100,000, no problem. Let's do it. How long it's going to take? I don't know. I don't know if I might be able. I always love one quote that says from Les Brown, I think it is, shoot for the moon. Even if you don't make it, you will land on the stars. So I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make 100,000, but if I do, or when I do, let me write down what I want to do with it. And that was life-changing for me. But so many people in that room, Daniel included, were smiling and laughing, not believing that's possible. And when you already start by not believing it's possible, how are you going to achieve it? You heard Daniel. He said, oh, I never believed I could make $10,000 a month. For me, $10,000 was like, okay, that's the apartment I want to rent. That's my rent money. Because I came from this mindset.
Right. So here's what I want to understand from you. How big of an organization have you built?
So it's a bit difficult when I talk about my numbers without Daniel because, we kind of worked together and sometimes,
Sure.
but there was a moment, and I mean, you must think that there is also some cats and dogs because people to qualify will sign up anybody. But there was some money. We had more than 1.5 million IDs signed up.
Yes.
Now, not all of them were staying active. We knew that for the plan of the company we had before, you had to have 12 people active in order to qualify. So some people probably, signed up grandma and grandpa. So I don't really know. But Eric, I'm not joking. We did Teams event of more than 20,000 people. We completely changed our lives. Like, honestly, network marketing has changed our lives in such a way that I cannot even explain it. It's so hard.
Describe
Like,
it. Try to explain
Okay,
it. How has it changed your life?
Okay, first of all, number one, I was always, I'm very small, I'm 154, I'm 5'1", okay? So, and blonde and, like that. And first of all, people always said, Stefania, you're never going to be a businesswoman. How are you going to be? You're like a Barbie, come on. You're not even good at opening a bank account or really understanding the laws of the countries. Like, people are always underestimated me in that way. But because network marketing does all of that, the licensing, the shipping of the products, paying my leaders, paying my people, someone like me that I admit I'm not good at administration money, I'm not good at paying commission, I was able to excel because I wasn't the one doing it. And even though I had no money to invest, like I said, I was so broke that I couldn't even go to the supermarket when I started network marketing. Network marketing allowed me just by, I bought the big package because that's what I was told to do. And like a child, I did exactly what people told me what to do. And I wish I had more people like I was that I could mentor that just listens. Because if your upline tells you something, it's because they want you to succeed. So if my upline told me, enter with a big package. I entered with a big package, even though I had no money. I asked a friend for a credit card. She puts her credit card. She trusted me. And I told her, I will pay you within 2 months. And about a month and a half later, I sold the products. I signed up 2 people and I was able to give her back all the money. And she bought some of the products from me as well. So that helped. So what I'm trying to say is that changed my life completely because I allowed it. Single mom with no special skills to become an entrepreneur and to be able to be my own boss and live in my own terms. Number 2, it changed the confidence I have. I was always quite confident, but now the way I even order a pizza is completely different than the way I ordered a pizza 13 years ago. The way I believe in myself is completely different. The way I lead people, the way I connect with people is completely different. It changed the fact that I have multiple homes. Imagine this. Because of network marketing, we actually make 7 figures a year just by rent money, because we didn't just go and buy Lamborghinis and watches. But in the moment we started to make money, we bought real estate in Dubai, and this real estate exploded. And we rent our properties now, and it's another stream of income. Because of network marketing, I was able to put my kids, which, by the way, for a moment I couldn't even put them in school in Dubai. I couldn't afford the school, so I had to homeschool them. And today they actually are. Now they all left, but in Dubai they were in the school with the royal family, with the kids of Sheikh Mohammed and bodyguards. So you can imagine the mindset and how big they could think. We could afford to do a lot of charity things that I love to do. And I don't want to say what the left sends to the right hand. I don't want to look like, but people that are close to me know I love charity. I love impacting people. It's giving me a purpose. It's giving me help. And we were able to create multiple millionaires. In fact, the last time we counted was 44 millionaires, not all making 1 million in a year, but we have leaders that stayed with us for 6, 8, 10 years that they made multiple millions because of network marketing, thanks to them, but with our support and our help, or because we told them, right? So it's like amazing. What else? Oh my God, so many things. We can travel the world. We don't see the world like a tourist. If I go to Georgia, and by the way, I know there are a lot of my Georgian team here. I go to the local restaurants. I eat the proper food. I see the proper places. Now we're going to go to Korea. I will see Korea in a whole different way. It's crazy. It's amazing. I was able to meet my husband. I mean, what about that? You're a single mom, broke with 3 kids, and all of a sudden you meet a guy that loves you to bits and is amazing to you. And we've been together for 14 years, ups and downs, of course, but amazing. I'm able to help my brother and his kids, my parents, so much more.
Well, part of it also, I think, is the ability to have income, the quality of income. People don't understand. They don't understand when you have income here, it's different. You don't have to have huge infrastructure. You don't have to have thousands of employees. You don't have to have all this responsibility. That's handled by the company for you. You bring your promotion, bring your superpowers, and be able to have income without as much drama as a typical CEO or company owner might have. What do you think is your superpower? I mean, what makes you special?
So I think connect with people. It's about, I think network marketing is about relationships, and I am good at relating with people. I am good at understanding people. I want to give credit to something. You see, like I said, I started network marketing because I was going through a difficult time in my life and the divorce. And I read a book that was The 5 Love Languages. And I know it's a book about relationship and marriage, but I applied this to my teammates and my leaders. So I was able to understand that people are completely different. Like, for example, I think you and Daniel are very similar in so many ways, by the way. And I was able to understand people and understand that people need to be loved. And in this I mean led in a different way. So for example, I'm very competitive. So if you put me in competition, I work, but other people don't. So I'm able to relate to people, understand people, read people. Even though I talk a lot, I learn to listen to people and to trigger the talents that are hidden in them by believing in them before they believe in themselves. Because I truly believe it, especially now after 14 years in network marketing. I truly believe that everyone can, I'm not saying will, be successful in network marketing. Everyone. It doesn't matter what profile you have. You just need to understand with what talents these people have and what to push and what to change and how to make them grow. So I'm very good at that. I'm very good at putting people together, placing people together, strategizing them, empowering them. And it's all about relationship. I would say that a lot of my latest big deals I did, I recruited a lot of people, is because of the relationship I kept throughout the years with people. I love people. I love to
Sure.
hang around with them. People give me energy. They don't take energy from me. So I can stay hours with them talking. And I remember the kid's name. I remember their birthday, even though I don't remember it to. That's a lie, actually. I don't remember their birthday. I'm terrible with numbers, but I remember to care when I see their birthday. I send them a message. Because I really care. They know I'm bad with birthday, by the way, but they know I'm very we imagine this. We have 2 big villas in Dubai, and one is just for the friends and guests. And if it wasn't for me, this would never happen because Daniel cannot have too many people around him. But we have barbecues, we have parties, and I think that's powerful because people stay loyal. Not everybody makes money right away. Not every time the company will give you the best of everything. There is problems, there is crisis, but because of the relationship, because of the communication, because of the trust and the authenticity, then they stay, and then we go through the battles together. And that's why we have leaders with us that have been together with us since the beginning. They don't leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's what I'd like you to do. I asked Danian to give everybody advice. His advice was to listen to you, to listen to what you have to say. So he put you on the spot. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to take 10, 15 minutes and just do a little mini training. How to be successful in network marketing from Stefania Legato.
Oh, well, I would have liked to be prepared, but okay, let's go. It might not be all in order, but okay. First of all, be real, be authentic, and keep your word. I feel a lot of leaders start the wrong way by saying, "Oh, this is an easy business. Oh, sign up to people, you're gonna be rich. Oh, just invite them on the Zoom, and it's gonna be done for you." No, I always told people the truth. I was like, "Look, it took me 2 years to start to make proper money. Look, it's gonna take time. It's not." It's not hard as a business. What I mean, we kind of say always the same things and the same story, but it's not easy because if it was easy, everybody would do it. So keep staying, keep on showing up, keep on coming. So by being real, by giving the right expectations, because you see, if you lie to them, short term you might recruit more people, but long term you will lose them. And so be real, be vulnerable, and teach them immediately how to answer to objections. Because one big problem is that people, if you're a good presenter, if you invite them to a good Zoom, people might leave the webinar, might leave the Zoom very excited, and then they immediately go and talk to their people, but then they don't even know how to answer the objections of, "Oh, don't tell me this is a pyramid scheme." And believe it or not, people still say that. I know it's less now, but there is still things like that. "Oh yeah, right, only the Americans make money," or things like that. So you need to keep it, the foundation need to be real, they need to be fixed, and people really need to trust you. So don't lie to the people. Guess what? I know a lot of people that lie on their income. When I wasn't making money, I didn't tell them I was making money. I gave them the vision of how and what will be once I will make money and what I wanted to do together with them. When I started to make 500 euros, I would go, look, part-time. Can you imagine? I've been in the business now for 6 months, but part-time I made $500. Look at this. Like, I would be always transparent. You will not believe how this will help you. Again, I'm not prepared, so I'm just going to go. Another thing that I always say, it's not so much about what you say, it's how you say it, okay? If you call somebody, it's like, "Hey, hi, would you like to join my business?" Or you heard Daniel. Did you hear Daniel when he pretended to send a message to Eric? Did you hear his energy? Did you hear his the way and how he said it? It's really, really important. Of course, you kind of need to make sense, but trust me, you can say the most meaningful thing, but if you're a boring, no energy, no speed, no, let's go, ba, 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 people will tell you, "Okay, let me think about it. I don't know." I would go like, "Look, darling, okay, so get out your credit card now and let's go because I have no time. I have more people to sign up." Like, Of course, depending who you have in front, there is people you need to be more calm. Again, here you need to be able to understand people, making some questions. So it depends who I had. I love when Eric said you need to sit in front of people and meet them, because I'm all about that. I'm all about relationship and meeting the people. And also the fact that then, we do live events for a while because of COVID. I also worked a lot online, and I felt the retention was much less. Because people didn't connect to you, people didn't get to know you, and I feel that instead, when you go to events, people see your eyes, see your tears. I can get very emotional. Women are emotional, but the emotion live connect in a whole different way. And women can relate to my story, for example, and can relate to my emotion, to my pain, and to my insecurity, to my, we are full of hormones, right? We are, one morning, in the beginning of the month, we feel one way, and at the end of the month, we feel another way. And together, when you do it live, those emotions connect you to a whole different way. I have people telling me, Stefania, I'm only here because you still make me believe that one day I can do it. And you know what? People need time to learn the skills. Like I said, for example, I was a natural leader, but if you're not, there are ways to learn how to be a leader. And one, for example, is to follow Eric Worre, to listen to his teaching, to go to these events. By the way, I didn't know. I'm so happy you're coming to Europe, to London, and to Paris, because those are things, where you can grow and learn and build your skills. So for me, it was also very important, and it's very important that you are coachable and that you never feel that you achieved and you arrived. Look, guys, I don't want to talk how much money we make, but we make a lot of money, a lot. Okay, together, separate as well. I still today sit down, take notes, and listen. Sometimes to leaders, they make 5,000, but because they know how to use TikTok, because they know how to use different ways, and because they do business in a different way, which I didn't do, because when I started was everything offline, and I still learn today. When you feel you're done, when you feel you know it all, then it's over. Okay, then you're done, because this business will always change. Some things remain the same. The basic remains the same, but other things will change, and you need to adapt to it. Do you think I like to do my social media all the time? Do you think I like to make reels, to post? I mean, I'm not an influencer, but I do that because people see me, they remember me, and eventually, because of the relationship, because of the example, because of what I give online and offline, they will contact me and join my team. And this is how it works. Another thing that I can say is, love. I know it sounds like a cliche, but I think when people feel loved and cared and not a number, um, they will perform better. They will stay better. They will do more. And love can win so many battles and win so many things. For sure, if you are not spiritual, we are made of spirit, souls, and body. I'm a Christian, I love Jesus, but whatever you want, but you need to understand that faith will help you. To believe will help you. I know so many successful people, they're successful because I have faith, and my faith has helped me so much and has impacted so many lives. So that for sure, impacting lives with faith and love, and that's what the Word of God teaches. For me, it was so important, and has paid me off so much. Another thing, be generous. Actually, I learned this from you, Eric. I sometimes if you feel it in your heart, give double the tip, or not the tip, double the, if you have a bill at the restaurant, just give the tip the same amount or more. One time, I will never forget when we did that, the lady came to me and crying. She couldn't believe it. And she was actually praying in the morning for a miracle because one of her kids was sick and she needed money. Like, you never know. Be generous, give. When you sow seeds in people's life, when you sow seeds in charities that you believe in, believe me, you are gonna get it back. And that's something that Daniel in the beginning didn't believe me, because Daniel in the beginning was like, oh baby, but you want to give so much, you want to give, like my mom and my dad together, they make this money in a year, and you want to just give this money away like this. I was like, yes, because when you give with the right heart and the right intention, automatically you will get it back in different ways. Maybe you will recruit a new team, maybe you will have a new leader that will explode, or maybe you will just organically grow your team, or you do also other businesses. Because for me, another thing that we teach a lot to our leaders is not only to make passive income with network marketing, but once you make that passive income, invest it right. like we did with real estate, for example. Invested in personal development is very important because it's going to pay back. So it's about teaching people also to invest into, in my case, I would say the kingdom of God, but into things that you really believe in to help others. And automatically you will be blessed as well. That's why my motto is blessed to be a blessing. Eric, I can go on and on. I mean, I can say so many things, but you took me off guard.
Yes, I wanted to take you off guard because I didn't want you to go on a particular script. I wanted to listen to what was coming out of your heart.
My heart, yes.
And yeah, so here's what I have. I have 7 things that I heard you say. 1 is be real. Trust is important. The more you show up real and authentic, the better. I would add one thing to that. Be authentic, but be the best version of you. You don't need to be authentic in all of your pain and giving everybody all of your drama. So you could talk about your drama so long as you're talking about what you're doing about it. So be authentic, be real, build trust over time. That's a very valuable thing. Number 2, how you show up. How you say what you say matters more than what you say. How your energy when you're face to face and you're looking people in the eye or not, or if you're on your phone when you're at lunch with somebody, how you show up. 3, face to face really matters. Getting face to face as much as you possibly can, because the energy is completely different, and it's becoming more and more rare today. So when you're that person, you separate yourself from everybody else. Number 4, be coachable. Never be too cool to learn. No matter how much you're making, there's levels. And if you're too cool and too comfortable, you're not in the right rooms. You need to be around people that are pushing you to be a higher version of yourself. Number 5, kind of a combination of love, lead with love, and connecting that love with faith. That's what I have in my notes, love and faith connected together. Number 6, be generous. With your time, be generous with your energy, be generous. As an introvert myself, generosity for me is giving you my energy. Money's easy. My energy's not. So that's the big gift. And anytime I'm really stepping into being introverted, that's being selfish for me. So giving of energy, but also giving of money, giving of your belief in somebody else. That's a huge gift you can give to somebody, just believing in them. Be generous. And number 7, invest wisely. Invest in yourself, invest in others, invest in assets that will, put your money to work. It gives you a different profile of kind of financial stability and security. In addition to just your cash flow, you have assets in addition to your cash flow. So would you add anything to that recap?
It's a good recap. I would say communication and keeping things simple in the business. Simplicity duplicates. So this is another quick story. I like to say that also because I like reminding people. We have to understand Daniel was quicker, more successful than me for a while. And when I started to be successful, it was at the same time when I started to date him. So people started to say, Stefania is just successful because she's going to bed with Daniel Fire, right? That's typical woman problem. And I have to say that because of that was a different why, because I was already making $30K a month. So the money was not an issue anymore. But I was like, okay, let me prove everybody that actually it's not because of Daniel. Daniel is definitely helping me, but I did the business. So I overtook him 2 ranks for 1 year. Okay. Why am I telling you this story? Because then Daniel couldn't understand why Stefania overtook me. And he wasn't competing against me, but he was like, why is she more successful than me? So he followed me on my tours. I was doing tours all the time. And he actually, one night, he looked at the wall and he liked, I got it. And I'm like, what did you get it? Because Daniel needs to analyze everything, needs to read everything, needs to write his books and writes his things. And I'm like, what is it, baby? What? He says, the reason why you are more successful than me is because you keep things simple. I overcomplicate everything. I do the best trainings. Sometimes you don't even know how to explain the J Office or the plan in depth. But because you keep things simple and you truly connect and care for people, people grow and people can duplicate. I overcomplicate things. So I realized that one key that why I'm successful is because I am a simple person. And I keep it simple because that's how I understand it. And it duplicates because everybody can do the way I do it.
Simplicity is hard. I will tell you, complicated's easy. It's easy, especially when you've been around for a while. You can start adding things and adding things and adding things, and you never take anything away. It's almost like every time you add something, you got to take two things and put it away. Add another thing, take another two things and put it away. Simplicity has to be fought for. It's not something that's automatic. But I have to remind myself, I don't have my legal pad right here, but on the top of my legal pad and the very top in a box, it just says simplify in big bold letters, because I have all my lists and all my to-dos and all my everything. You got to like figure out a way.
Oh yeah,
to
you and Daniel are the same. The to-do list is insane. Oh my God. But you see, Eric, but for me instead, because to me it comes natural,
yeah.
then I was able to duplicate quicker. That's the truth. And also because to me it comes natural to talk to people and communicate. Communication is also very important if we want to add that, because when you communicate to the downline and the downline, you also find problems. You can, sometimes I don't feel I'm a networker. I feel I'm a psychologist. I feel I'm a politician. But by being that, I can prevent teams leaving, teams fighting, finding out betrayers, finding out if they're doing the business in the business. Daniel does so many other things. Like he's the best. But he would never take 1 hour on the phone listening to Mr. Joe complaining, right? Sometimes I do, and that's needed as well sometimes. Okay, don't turn into slave leaders, turn into servants leaders. But to be a servant leader sometimes also means to serve in that way. So the communication has saved. You have no idea. I mean, we got backstabbed so many times in this business, right? I mean, when you are at our high level. One time you told me this. I called you. I was going through a difficult time. We were backstabbed terribly. And you were so amazing. You were on the phone with me like for half an hour. And you told me, Stefania, you just need to realize something. You are like you said at the time, those were the words, the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, I wish, but of the business. And they, and they are attacked all the time publicly. They are attacked, on magazine, and they say lie about them. You need to be ready of that. You need to be ready and accept it. And don't go, because I wanted to go live and defend myself. And you said this, she's there, you are here. No, you are here and she's there. If you go down, you will lift her up. Forget about it. Don't talk about it. Don't think about it and move on, right? So sometimes because of the communication, because of the context, because of the connection I did with the team, I was able to prevent or solve huge teams leaving, backstabbing, deals and stuff like that. If I didn't do that, we would lose entire groups because of the lack of communication. And I know this is more for bigger leaders, but it's important. You need to talk to your leaders. You need to meet with your leaders. Daniel said, we do groups and we do incentive trips, like only top leaders. And we sit down with a board and write, what do you need? What can we do better? How can we change? We also give feedbacks. Another thing that we can put on the list, because obviously now I'm thinking, always give feedbacks to one another, for example. So if I speak on stage, I don't care if you come to me, oh, you inspire me, you were amazing. No, I don't need to hear that. I know I'm good. Okay, I've been doing this for a long time. I want to hear you can do this better. You did this wrong. You can do that. And Daniel and I are very tough with one another. I can already give him 5 things he did wrong before and 5 things that he did right. But because we want to get better. And I want this also from my downline. So I tell my downline, okay, tell me what I can do better. Give me a feedback. I'm here to do better for you and for me. This is very important.
I love it. Well, Stefania, this has been amazing. And your impromptu training, I'm sure is going to be on repeat for a lot of people to listen to over and over. It's what I like about it is it's not your traditional 10 steps. It's straight from the heart, straight from your experience, straight from your success. And I do believe success leaves clues. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Daniel, both of you, for sharing and offering up your wisdom and ideas together. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching the Excellence Project, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to say goodbye to the people watching on social media, and the people who are on Zoom. Stay on, and we will continue our conversation. We'll do a little Q&A with Dave